It's Parachute 2014, and it is so good to be talking in the Rhema Media tent with Mike from MxPx. Hey! Oh, there you go. A little smattering of applause for you.
Hey, everybody. You guys excited? It's going to be a good year. It's going to be a great year.
Hey, welcome to New Zealand. When was the last time you were down under, so to speak?
We did an Australian tour, although I don't know if that counts. New Zealand, Australia.
No.
It's like two different worlds, right? We did, last year, but I think it was like mid-2000s, so it's been a little while.
All right.
And we were just in Auckland. Always fun. But I have a funny story about the last time I was in Auckland. A fan we were hanging out with, he really wanted to get tattooed by me. And I don't tattoo professionally, I kind of just randomly do it every now and then.
We'll open it up for tattoos later.
Yeah, let me know. So he's like, I work at a tattoo shop, let's go do this. And I'm like, all right, cool, because I do it now and then, so it's not a weird thing for me. But so I go and I'm tattooing this guy, and the owner shows up, the owner of the shop, which I know nothing about. And the guy got so mad. He hated me because I was American maybe, but the guy, he started yelling at me as if I was the one that was like in there, like I didn't. I just walked in and started tattooing. And,
that's not even a tattoo gun. That's a stapler.
Exactly. So that's basically what I was doing. And he yelled at me. He wanted to beat me up. Luckily, I got out of there alive. But that was my last Auckland trip.
That's good.
It's going to be much nicer.
The secret to not getting in trouble is to always do a Lord of the Rings tattoo in New Zealand, and then we're happy. He would have been absolutely fine with that. Nice hobbit on the leg, or something. Hey, your band has been together all the way since 1992.
Yes.
It's a long time. What is that, 21 years?
21 years now, yeah.
Amazing. And how have things changed over that time?
A lot has changed, as we all know, but you know, the easiest stuff is obviously the internet now exists, and it didn't exist, or maybe it existed then, but I didn't know about it. So, you know, the first time a fan came up to us and said, you know, you really need a website. It's like, what's a website? So yeah, a lot has changed over those 21 years, but we started out just kids in the garage doing it just like anybody does it. You know, high school, friends, getting together, talent shows, local church shows, youth group shows, you know, just all that, and really just kind of going for it, you know?
Yeah.
So.
And you guys have pretty much made the same style of music the whole way through. Has there been times when you've thought, hey, we need to change genres? You know, like this isn't as cool as it once was, and you know, were there times when you thought we're not going to stick with it?
Yeah, we thought about a rap career, but you know, each album has its own thing. You know, it is rock and roll, it is punk rock, it's a pop punk, it's all these things, you know, but you know, sometimes there's ballads. We have songs called, like Quit Your Life that really is just a pop ballad song. So yeah, I mean, we have kind of entered into those other genres a little bit, but we kind of mix it all together in an MxPx way, so it works out.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have asked you over the years about your Christian faith and things, and I guess it's always hard to sort of stand with one leg in the secular world and one leg as a Christian. You're just a Christian after all. And how do you guys handle that? And I mean,
I think the coolest thing, we were on a tour with Bad Religion years ago. I think it was '97, so it was a little while ago. But
who wasn't born in 1997? Hey.
There we go. Who was like less than 5 years old in 1997? A couple of you, probably. So we were on tour with them, and you know, they would, every now and then we'd get in discussions, you know, and it's not like we would bring it up really, but we were just kids. I mean, we literally were just out of high school, like 2 years, and these guys that we looked up to are asking us about our faith, asking us about God, you know, so it was cool. So I think that's been one of the coolest things, is just, we've never been super outspoken, super we've never been like a praise band, but it's all been like a personal, like, this is the song I wrote because I personally feel this way, and it really has sort of been relatable to a lot of people, you know, over the years. And but with bands like that, getting to sort of share, you know, your faith, share your life, share, you know, anything about yourself, you know, with people like that is pretty cool.
Yeah. You were just telling me before we started the interview that your first kind of, or your last actually kind of real job where you weren't just making music and having a blast was actually at a pizza shop.
Yeah. Pizza shop.
What was it called? Spiros.
Spiros, yeah. It was, you know, I still go there and eat every now and then. It still exists. It hasn't closed down. But I was a busboy. I was dishwasher. I made salads. I kind of did that, you know, and I enjoyed it. But you know, it was nothing like having music be your job. Like being able to be in a band and have it be your job is something that I really over the years tried not to take for granted, because it really is special. And even just coming to New Zealand, coming anywhere I travel, now more than anything, now that I have a almost 1-year-old girl, my wife and I, and I tour a little bit less. You know, I'm still touring a lot, but I always go home. I always got to go home and see the kid. So for me, coming to like New Zealand, I always in my mind say, this could be the last time I'm here.
Yeah.
And I always try to live life to its fullest in that way. And maybe that's just, you know, walking down the street, enjoying, you know, the local atmosphere, the restaurants, the shops, the environment. Of course, it's great here in New Zealand. You got a beautiful country. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I'm living nowadays. It's just whenever I go to Japan or I'm going to Hawaii after this, you know, I'm gonna really enjoy it and really take it all in. Yeah.
So how has your message changed and the music that you're writing these days changed from what you were writing when you were a teenager?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely has changed. Of course, why wouldn't it? But for me, it's all about just, I guess, setting out to be honest with people in the music, and that's what MxPx has always been about. It's kind of funny, like in the music industry, people, they wear costumes, and it's almost like you're an actor. You could be, you know, there's different types of artists, of course. You know, some people wear glittery outfits, and absolutely, I don't have any problem with really any of that, you know, because I think it's cool to see a show, see a concert, or just any kind of entertainment that really takes you to a place. But with punk rock, it's always been a little bit more raw, a little more, it's very emotional, very much relating to the everyday problems that we have as teenagers growing up, kids growing up, into young adults. And so me as a person, as a songwriter, it's always just been a journey. You know, I don't know what the future holds for songwriting and music and all that, but as long as I stay true to like just being honest with people, I think. And everybody always says, you're so positive and all this, and it's like, I don't really think of it as trying to be positive. I guess I'm positive. Yeah, you're right. I'm a positive person.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's not very punk rock, but it's
not
cool.
very punk rock.
You're supposed to be just fully anti-society, aren't you?
Yeah, I think so. I'm a little anarchist in some ways.
That's
you know,
we'll give you something to smash up later.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
That's good. So what can the crowd expect at Parachute this year?
Let's smash some things. What do you guys think? Yeah.
All right, that's exactly what I was waiting for. Bring out the sheep.
Yeah. I don't understand that comment at all.
Don't worry, I would just move on quickly.
All right. Well, I heard this is a big dairy farm kind of area around Hamilton.
We're all dairy farmers.
Dairy farmers. So maybe we can enjoy some of the New Zealand raw milk. I don't know.
You gonna do this on stage?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm winging it really at this point. But no, song-wise, you know, we're gonna play a really good mix of everything. To be honest, we don't really do much of our first album, but every now and then we do. But pretty good mix of everything else we do. At least one song from every record, awesome. I think.
That's cool.
Don't quote me on that.
Well, Mike from MxPx, so good to talk to you, man, and thank you very much for coming in. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike from MxPx.
Hey guys. I like that
shirt. Good. All right, and now we're just going to open the floor up. So if you've got a question you'd like to ask, we'll bring a microphone to you.
Brett from Voice of the Martyrs, just a question for you. Have you heard of Voice of the Martyrs before? And we represent persecuted Christians around the world, and B, if you could give a message to Christians that are suffering, and say in Syria, Egypt, like North Africa, Middle East, Colombia, what would it be?
Wow, that's pretty heavy. Well, I would just say, no, I have not heard of your thing, but I'll check it out. And it's Voices of the
Voice of the Martyrs.
Voice of the Martyrs.
Voice of the Martyrs. It's such a crazy. I mean, as an American, I don't feel responsible for anything my government does, but I really am anti-war, a lot, and I feel like a lot of the turmoil happening in the world it's due to a lot of selfishness in a lot of ways. People not really accepting of each other. It is a tough world out there, I guess, but what do I even say? I mean, real heavy situations happening in the Middle East, all over, Africa. I have friends, ex-Navy SEALs, that do like security work in Africa, and the stories. Actually, a buddy of mine that does photography for the band, Jared Scott. He was just in Africa on a kind of not a mission trip, I would say, but like the stories, getting to see people, getting to touch people's lives and really make a difference, I think is really cool. So I would just say to the Christians out there that are going through a lot of misery, I mean, I don't personally know what to tell you. I mean, God bless you, and I really hope that organizations such as yours and people that are going out there and doing humanitarian work, it's much needed. It really is. There's a lot of callousness that you can watch the news over and over and get kind of jaded and get a little just over it. Like, I'm busy. I got my thing to do and all this. But to really sit down and think, I think a lot of times we don't realize there's just people like us everywhere. They speak different languages. They have their own experiences, and they go through a lot of suffering. And God bless you, and I really hope your organization does well.
What really got you into recording and joining a band and really singing Christian music and stuff?
Sure. I was in high school. I was actually just about to enter high school. It was the summer of '92, and I'd been playing for about a year already. So getting into being in a band, I had played with a couple guys, mostly singing. I didn't play in the band yet, but I realized that you really got to find, and actually I'm doing a talk tomorrow if you guys want to come see it. It's going to be another Q&A thing, but a little less interview, more talking about my experiences, and this is definitely part of that. Just realizing that you have to find people that have similar goals, similar ideas, similar hobbies and loves, and finding that really gives you an idea of what you can accomplish. Because having a team, like I feel like when I'm alone, I'm getting a little off the subject, sorry bro, but when I'm doing stuff alone, you can kind of get overwhelmed, but like having other people to do music with really makes a huge difference. And I think that sort of like when I found that I wanted to pursue that, it was like, okay, this works. I found a couple guys that really want to do what I'm doing. And so I would just encourage you to just, of course, play music, but finding the right team in anything you do. It doesn't have to be music. It could be just these cameras. See, there's 3 people, not just one.
Hey bro, I was just wondering about lyrically, like the tension between like just repping Christ straight and like calling it maybe how it is. Like, is that equal territory for you, or do you just like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you deal with it when you're walking through life, like in terms of what you put into your music?
That's a good question. There are times he's asking about lyrically between Christian lyrics and just lyrics. I don't know what the difference is, but I know what you mean. This is a tough one actually, as an artist, as a songwriter. there's no right answer, there's no wrong answer. It's just, it's always moving. I think each album I write a little differently. Sometimes it's more poetic, a little more abstract. Sometimes it's just straight, you know, I walked into a wall today. You know, like, it's not very poetic, but it's true, right? So I kind of just, honestly, like, I really try not to overthink that, because it always gives me writer's block when I think too much about, okay, is this lyric too straightforward, or is it too poetic, or whatever. So for me, I really don't think about it too much. I really just write whatever it is I write, and then that's the song. But yeah, I always get tripped up when I think too much, I think.
One more?
One more? Anyone desperate?
What's your craziest tour story?
Okay, craziest tour story, huh? Well, we'll see what happens tomorrow night, like I keep saying. Parachute 2014, maybe we'll make the roster.
Redefine it.
Craziest tour story. I mean, for me, there's probably been a lot of stuff that could qualify. It's always so hard to, I should always have just a stock answer, but I really should just, I'll come up with something. Indonesia, I almost died. Almost died there once. We were on a boat. We kind of had we went outside the city, about 3 hours drive out to this resort area. It was really not a resort. You're thinking the wrong thing. Resort is not the right word. Fishing village, okay, there we go, on the beach. So we wanted to go out to the island of it's like a volcano island. I don't remember the name of it, but we got in this boat and we start going, and the weather's getting worse and worse and worse. Kind of reminds me of the story about Jesus in the boat when everybody's freaking out. Well, we're freaking out, right? Because the further out we got, we could actually see the plume of smoke from the volcano, and that wasn't what was scary. It was just all the waves and rain were just drenched with water. I talk about this. I think we show a little clip of this in our last DVD that we released, but that was probably one of the craziest things. That whole experience, I could probably talk like for a half hour just about that story, and you guys would be bored, but just so much happened there in Indonesia. We ended up turning around eventually, going back and getting on this fishing boat. So this was a speedboat out in the ocean. But Yuri, our drummer at the time, was like, guys, we got to turn around. We're like, okay, let's go. But we got on this fishing boat and went up the river. So like, okay, the sea spit us out. Now let's go up the river and see what happens. And as we're going up the river, there's porta potties, but not the kind you think. Think wooden stilts with no actual enclosure, just like a little like you couldn't see everything because there was a gate here, but people were literally like a lifeguard shack. Think of that, sitting out onto the river. So we're going down the river, and there's like these lifeguard shacks where people use the bathroom. So it's like I said, I enjoy sort of like getting out of my comfort zone. That was a little weird though.
Yeah.
But we ended up getting stuck at the end of the river, and this boat is very, very long. We had the guys jump out, and our tour manager at the time, Tommy Ratt, jumped into the water, which I was like, okay, I like to try new things, but I'm not going in that poop water. So, and he ended up getting he got a cut on his foot and everything, got infected. No. Yeah, so that was a crazy story, although I don't know if it was what you were quite wanting. But I've got some other ones. We'll talk later.
Hey man, thanks so much for your time. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you, bro.